I am an unapologetically Black Muslimah. I've made a habit of rarely sharing how I identify spiritually to others, mainly because my relationship with the divine is personal and private. However, there's another force that induces my selective silence called ignorance. From elementary school up until now, as a liberal arts undergraduate, I've witnessed and experienced a consistent hostility due to the mass misinterpretation of my faith. Oppressive, barbaric, terrorist, murderous, hijadist, which, by the way, that word, is often taken completely out of context from its true definition. These are the words I see and hear most often in reference to Islam on national news broadcasts and online articles. My job is not to persuade anyone into realizing that Islam is not some deranged, inhumane religion. I refuse to try to convince others that real Muslim men aren't in the deserts of Africa or the Middle East shouting Allahu Akbar as they raise AK-47s and shoot countless bullets into the sky. I cannot convert someone's belief that when Islam is practiced correctly and righteously, just as any other religion, no one person can be oppressed and forced into it. So, for the most part, I tend to keep my religion to myself. I find it easier for me to focus on my relationship with Allah rather than trying to justify it to others. There's such a small number of Muslim students here at Elon, which has made my silence that much more effortless. I know that most people automatically categorize me as some denomination of Christianity. It's an easy and safe assumption to make because we live in a predominantly Judeo-Christian society. Whenever I do decide to share with others that I claim Islam as my religion, the reactions are usually mixed. There are those who stare at me for 5 or 7 seconds, and before they respond, pause and then say, "Oh," abruptly ending that part of our conversation. Some mention ISIS, the most recent terrorist attack streaming on the news channels, prodding me for a response as if I'm solely accountable for explaining the heinous acts of extremists. On a rare occasion, there are people who are intrigued, sincerely wanting to know how my faith is similar or different to theirs. Those who truly want to understand Islam, outside of what's been portrayed on mass media, delight me. These are the people who encourage me to break my self-imposed silence and speak about the beauty and reality of my religion. I know that knowledge and truthfulness are the biggest opponents to ignorance. And even though I could talk about our practices, how we pray 5 times a day, or the holy month of Ramadan, it's ultimately up to the individual on what he or she chooses to believe about Islam. If people could only take the time to study and understand the faith, they'll get to know the truth for themselves. And inshallah, while they're doing that, I will continue to be an unapologetically Black Muslimah.